More than 41% of Covello residents live below the poverty line, and in 2013, the last time statistics were collected, the Round Valley Indian Tribe's unemployment rate was 86%. At the time, California's unemployment rate was just under 9%. According to statistics released by the National Institute of Justice in 2016, Native American and Alaskan Native women are 1.6 times more likely to experience physical abuse by an intimate partner than their white peers. In fact, 84% of the estimated 2.6 million Native American women will experience physical violence. More than half will live through sexual violence. For years now, Mendocino County has had a big problem with drug and alcohol abuse. The drugs of choice are methamphetamine and heroin. The rise in drug abuse echoes the rise in domestic violence. The National Institute of Justice data reports that of the 2.8 million Native American women in the U.S., 84% will experience domestic abuse in their lifetime. Drug and alcohol abuse, constant unemployment, incarceration, and a lack of access to community resources are all traits that many abusers share, including Negi Fallis IV, Khadijah Britton's ex-boyfriend and the only suspect in her disappearance. Khadijah Rose Britton was a proud tribal member of the Round Valley Indian tribes. She excelled in high school. She was the star of the girls' basketball team, having been taught how to play by her mother and father while in elementary school. In Khadijah's senior year of high school, she averaged an astounding 18 points per game and helped lead the team to a first-place finish in the North Central 3 League, where she was named co-MVP of the All-League team. She was known for her sense of humor, cracking jokes in class, and playfully teasing classmates. It's only fitting that in her junior year of high school, Khadijah was voted class flirt. Khadijah was also known for being fiercely loyal and protective. In 2012, Khadijah graduated from Round Valley High School with a GPA of 3.17. Khadijah has said that she wanted to pursue a sports-related career in kinesiology. Her family hoped she would enroll in community college and take classes offered at the high school through Mendocino College. Khadijah ended up not enrolling in college. She chose a party girl lifestyle. She used drugs regularly, especially with friends of Negi Fallis. No one is really sure exactly when Khadijah began having a relationship with Negi Fallis, but the honeymoon period was short-lived. Her relationship with Negi was tumultuous. Negi was verbally and physically abusive. Family and friends said that Negi was very possessive and had a short temper. She became a mother figure to Negi's 4 children. Khadijah would do the housework and laundry, cook, put the kids to bed, and pick them up from school. The more time she spent with Negi, the lower her confidence and esteem became. In 2012, Negi Fallis was convicted of possession of controlled substance, endangering the health of a child, possession of drug paraphernalia, and carrying a switchblade longer than 2 inches. He also had a history of abusing his girlfriends. Negi was sentenced to 6 years in state prison but was released early in 2014. Khadijah told her mom that she was tired of Negi disrespecting her. Family had tried multiple times to get her to leave Negi. However, she didn't want to leave his kids, especially his younger daughter, who she had a bond with. Less than a week after she told domestic violence counselors, Negi had attacked her with a hammer. Weeks before her disappearance, Khadijah and Negi had a fight. She left the home where she was and was picked up by her friend Felix, who took her to his grandmother's house. It didn't take long for Negi to track down where Khadijah had gone. He yanked her out of Felix's grandmother's home by the hair while calling her a whore. He pulled her to a white Mustang where he punched her in the face and kicked her. He struck her in the head with what was believed to be a hammer. He said if she didn't get in the car, he was going to kill her. She got off the ground into his car and they began to argue. Negi turned the car around to go confront Felix. Khadijah escaped from the car and hid in a neighboring field behind a tree stump. She then went to her father's home and phoned the tribal police for help. An investigation was started and Negi was arrested and charged. Less than a week after the incident, Khadijah told a domestic violence counselor that Negi Fallis had attacked her with a hammer. Khadijah had broken up with Negi before her disappearance. So the day of her disappearance, Negi appeared at a house that she was at on Airport Road and with his girlfriend Antonia Baptiste Dawson, screaming for Khadijah to get out of the house. Negi carrying a gun up to the door. He demanded that Khadijah come outside and talk to him. When Khadijah appeared in the doorway, a physical altercation happened. Negi was seen chasing Khadijah around his car, which was being driven by his girlfriend Antonia. Negi was seen hitting Khadijah and pushing her into the car and speeding off. The witness who provided this account didn't report what they saw right away, so no one knew that this had happened. Her family said that they just noticed that after a while, a couple of days or so, that no one knew where Khadijah was. And at first, they thought that maybe she was with Negi, but as the time went on and no one was able to contact her, they figured that something had happened. So when the witness who saw what I just described happen, then the family became very alarmed because then they were frightened for her safety. Now, Khadijah called her mom the day of her disappearance while she was going outside to talk to Negi. She told her mom, "Don't open the door for anyone and lay low." Now, shortly before her disappearance, Khadijah had went to the police and dropped the charges against Negi. She disappeared later that night, and Khadijah's family believes she was coerced to drop the charges because Negi had an extensive criminal history and he had too much to lose, and he definitely would have done a lot of time in prison. So her mom had tried to, again, like I said, call her and reach her, and they could not reach her family. So they went ahead and filed a missing persons report after a couple days. When Khadijah's family went to the tribal police to report her missing, they felt like they weren't taken seriously by the police. They were told that, she'll show up, she's probably just mad with you guys, or she just doesn't want to be bothered at this time, and she'll more than likely show up. They was very dismissive. Now, Khadijah only had a burner phone that a domestic violence advocate had gave her, so they weren't able to trace the phone or be able to find a GPS of where she would be located because of that. Now, Khadijah's family set up a Facebook page and contacted all of the news stations in the area to broadcast Khadijah's disappearance. But the family wasn't getting much local coverage about Khadijah's disappearance because the news felt like the disappearance wasn't newsworthy, whatever that means. Now, days after Khadijah's disappearance, Negi was found and arrested. He was booked on assault with a deadly weapon, kidnapping, first-degree burglary, and attempted murder. Negi pleaded not guilty, and there wasn't enough evidence to keep him locked up on the charges. So he wasn't charged with Khadijah's disappearance or the first time, the first kidnapping where he attacked her with the hammer. Now, Negi's girlfriend, Antonia Batiste Dawson, was booked on felony for harboring a felon. She was released on bond with a pending court date that she did not show up to. The Department of Justice and the FBI has been brought in on the case. Khadijah's family says that Negi's mother was acting very strangely days after Khadijah's disappearance, and they said that people saw her spraying her home and burning a barrel outside of her home. And when she was asked what she was burning, she said that she was burning the remains of dead dogs, which made no sense at all. Now, Negi has been sentenced to 4 years in state prison for being a felon in possession of a firearm. He pled no contest to the charges on October 9th of 2018. Negi had been out on bail, but he was taken into custody at the courthouse there in Ukiah County after the sentence was handed down in Mendocino Superior Court on December 4th, 2018. On December 21st of 2018, Antonia Batista Dawson was booked into county jail. She was arrested after investigators determined from jail records that she had assisted Negi in hiding a firearm. She was arrested in August but was released on bail and had agreed to a plea deal for either a year of probation or up to 3 years in local prison, which she was required to appear in court on the 17th of December 2018 for sentencing. Now, she had admitted to being an accomplice to Negi and helping him hide several firearms at her residence in Cavello, and that was in February of 2018. She was also charged with welfare fraud, which she may be looking at a longer sentence. Now, there is a $85,000 reward for information on Khadijah's disappearance. Now, Mendocino County Sheriff Lieutenant Shannon Barney, who is the lead investigator, says that he's still hoping for a break in the case from somebody who knows something, and he also still have evidence that needs to come back from the lab, from a lab analysis. So he's hoping that he might get something there as well. It is his hope that he can solve this case and find Khadijah one way or another. Khadijah was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black t-shirt, and stretchy blue pants. She is 5 feet 5 inches tall, 180 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She has tattoos. There's a tattoo on her right forearm, and she has a tattoo on her shoulder. Now, Khadijah was last seen February 7th of 2018. And if you have any information on Khadijah's disappearance, I will leave the information to the Sheriff's Department and tip line at the bottom of the video and description box. Theories in this case. There's only one theory, and that's that Negi abducted Khadijah along with his girlfriend Antonia, and that there was foul play that resulted in her disappearance. So the biggest issue is locating Khadijah and being able to use once they find her, use that towards convicting Negi and Antonia for her disappearance and her possible murder. Domestic violence is just such a nasty issue. It really is. And I hate to hear when young women like Khadijah, who are in the prime of their lives, they're just beginning life, and they're dealing with someone like a Negi Phallus, someone who is just a sounds like some kind of sociopathic, just very angry and just toxic person to be around. And just all the things that he inflicted on her, the emotional abuse as well as the physical abuse. And it was for no reason, just for her loving him. It's ridiculous. And you hear me time and time again speak about domestic violence and just what women, the statistics of domestic violence, and just the impact that domestic violence has on women. And it breaks my heart when I hear stories like Khadijah's. So women, please use Khadijah's story as a cautionary story to not, when you see the red flags of domestic violence, to heed them and to go ahead and remove yourself from that toxicity, from that person, because nothing good will come from it. It's not clear why Negi abducted Khadijah, because just days before she had dropped the charges against him. Now, I know where I'm from, the state can go ahead and pick up charges if they like on an assault, especially a kidnapping. So I don't know if maybe that was the case why he decided to go ahead and abduct her so that she would speak. No one knows what's in his mind, because he's not speaking, nor Antonia. But my prayers go out to Khadijah's family and friends that one day they will receive resolution in her disappearance, and that one day soon they will find Khadijah. Thank you so much for watching.